Hello, and welcome to a new game. This is Smite. Now, I wouldn't normally do this sort of introduction video, but I felt that Smite's a complex enough game that I can't explain it while playing it, and thus this video is necessary. Now, Smite is a MOBA style game that takes gods and other mythical creatures from various myths around the world. Right now I'm playing Zeus, who's from Greek mythology. Now, if we focus on the middle little HUD option with the character icon, and right under that is the XP bar and the level. Now, you want to level up in Smite to increase your 4 abilities. Now, 1, 2, and 3 are your basic are your attacks, as well as a basic attack, which is this by clicking. And now these 4 abilities, however, cost mana, and you get them every time you level up. With the 4th ability being an ultimate or ult. And those moves are generally much more powerful than the rest, and are only used in certain situations, such as to kill another god. So here I'm just using the practice level to level myself up to the... Alright, so let's look more in depth into the gods. Now, there are 5 different classes, of gods. We have assassins, who, fairly self-explanatory, physical, high damage, low defense. So they do a lot of damage but can't take a lot of damage. These are all the assassins in the game. So next we have the warrior class. Now warriors are kind of like assassins. They can't do as much damage though, but they have more health. So they're kind of a mix between the assassin and the next class, which I'm going to show you, which is the guardian. Now the guardians, again, self-explanatory. Heavy defense, low damage. And all these guys are the guardians. We have the mage class, again, kind of like the assassins, but with range. They stay away from the fights and shoot their projectiles and whatnot into the battle and try and stay out of the fight so they can do the most damage. Finally, we have the hunter. The hunter's kind of like the mage, but rather than using the magical damage like a mage, they use physical damage. Now, that's a very important distinction between magic and physical. Now, some gods, like Anhur, are physical, so that's important when you're building your items, but we'll get into that later. Whereas a god like Anubis is magical. Most of the... actually, in fact, I think all the mages are magical. All the guardians are magical. Whereas most of the assassins and warriors are physical, and all the hunters are... Now, I thought I'd take you back into the practice mode to show you the items. Now, when you first bring up your item menu, accessed by I, it gives you this screen, which is the recommended items for the said god. Right now we are playing Bakasura, who I believe is an Indian god, but don't quote me on that. I'll check afterwards. So, let's go into all items, which is accessed by clicking the all items button. We also have a stats button, which shows us our god's various stats, which also improve as you level up. Now, the items are probably the most complex, but also the most rewarding part of the game, since a good build can change the entire match. Now, on offensive, we have 5 different options. I had to count there. Including power. This is the same on both mage and magical damage and and physical damage, and it's just denoted by magical power or physical power. Now, what's nice is you can't buy magical power as a physical god, so you're not going to be wasting anything. Now, power increases your damage, and it's always good. Okay, we're going to have to move. I know that. So, the next one is attack speed, and this is fairly self-explanatory. It increases your attack speed. The next one is lifesteal, and I love lifesteal because it's fun. Because as you damage people, it heals you. Now, it's not a lot, but it usually is enough to keep you alive longer than then. The next is penetration. Again, and this comes in both the magical and the physical forms. And this gets past the armor. So once we look into the defensive stats, the penetration can get past that. The best penetration item is probably the Titan's Bane, with the rest of them being usually more valued for other attack or stats. Now, one offensive, thing that's unique to the physical gods is crit chance. And this has a chance, as you increase it, it has a chance to do double damage as you hit. Now, one of the best crit items is Rage, as every time you hit and don't crit, it increases your chance up to 5. And once you hit 5 stacks of not critting, you will crit. So moving on to the defensive, we have physical defense. Obviously, you're going to want to purchase this if you're going against an assassin or a hunter, as they're going to be doing lots of physical damage to you. We also have magical defense. Again, you're going to want that against a mage, basically, and or a guardian that builds very damage. Obviously, health, though most items that give you magical and or physical defense will give you some health. Then health per second. This increases your health regeneration rate. And yeah. Then we also have some utility stats such as auras, which give you some bonuses as well as your allies some bonuses. We have movement speed, obviously self-explanatory. Cooldown reduction, which reduces the cooldown on your basic abilities, or not your basic abilities, but your abilities. And we have some mana, which increases your mana, and mana per second, which increases your mana regeneration rate. Now, let's see. Let's just pick up something like that we would pick up at the start of the game. We're going to go, that's about as much money as you'll have at the start of a normal match. Maybe you'll have enough for boots, too. Now, most matches you start out with 3 levels, so let's get 3 levels. And let's look at the various enemies we can face. So, this is an AI practice god. We're not going to mess with him yet. Over here we have an XP camp, which is unique to the Conquest game mode, and we'll go over the game modes in a little bit. Most of these creatures are unique to the Conquest game mode. The Mana Camp gives you a bonus in mana, regeneration, and I think overall for about 2 minutes. Don't quote me on that, but it's a sizable buff, and that is in most game modes. So you want that on your characters that need lots of mana, such as a mage and or hunter. But all gods can benefit from it. So if you're an assassin and you're out in the jungle, which I'll explain later on, and you see a mana camp that's up, you can still take it, and it will still be useful to you. Here we have I think this is the attack speed camp, yeah. Yeah, so this increases your attack speed. So right now I'm kind of fast, but if I took this camp, I'd be even faster. The next guy we have is the damage camp. Now this is something you're going to want on your assassins and your hunters and your mages. Of course, you can't have multiple buffs on at the same time. That wouldn't be fair. So you can only have one buff on at a time. So this game, the damage camp's good for everybody in reality, but you're generally going to see your assassins and or your hunters take it. Here we have another guy unique to the Conquest game mode, the Gold Fury. Now killing the Gold Fury is quite a hard task. If I went and tried it, I would die, since I'm quite a low level, and you need to be probably level at least 15 to solo it. But when you have a team, you can probably do it a little earlier on, and it grants a little bit more gold for buying stuff. But we're in the kind of practice game mode, and we have infinite money basically. Over here we have Fire Giant, another mob unique to the Conquest game mode. And this guy, once you kill him in the later game, because he's quite powerful, he gives you a sizable buff to your whole team. Over here we have a lane. So let's activate some abilities and kill these minions. Now minions come in, well, I was going to show you on my minions, but they come in two varieties, melee and ranged. And they just kind of run up the middle lane and try and push your towers, which is something I'll explain later. So, yeah, so this is going to be a core part of the game, is killing minions. Now, they don't do lots of damage, but their damage can be significant. So you do have to watch out for them when you're low on health. And we're back around. So, now that we've explained kind of the different camps, and as well as the minions, let's look into our active and consumable items. So, if we hit active, now actives go in these two slots, and once you buy an active item, you can only upgrade it. You can't sell it. So it's very important to know what you want before you get it. One good item is greater sprint. It's a sprint. It makes you go faster. Another one I like is combat blink, which allows you to teleport out of combat, which is quite useful. Again, a Gaius pendant, it's invulnerability, and you can move. Whereas its sister item, Greater Gaius, makes you a little bit more resistant to damage, but you can't move. So I tend to go with the Gaius pendant because I like my freedom. And the rest of the guys are, I'll let you read through them. There's many great wikis out there that tell you. I'd finish up with Shield of the Underworld, which reflects 40% of all the damage you're taking back to the enemy that's attacking you. So it's a very good item against a very high damage god. So, and next we have the consumables. So this is our potions, and most of these stack up to 5. The mana and health and multi-potion, I'll do that. We have wards, which when you're out in the jungle, you can't see as far, so you can use these to track in enemy movements and whatnot. And we have the sentry ward, which sees both the enemies and other wards. We have potion of physical might, which is the same on the magical, except it's called the potion of magical might, and it just gives you a massive physical and or magical power buff for 5 minutes or until you're killed. Then we have elixirs of power and defense, which give you lots of power and defense for the defense potion and power for the power potion. So that's the items and the basic enemies you're going to be facing in Smite. So let's move on to the... Alright, So, here we're in the kind of game mode selecting area. So we have Arena, which is an open arena. Here's 3 buff camps on either side, an attack speed, a mana, and a damage camp. And those are usually gotten at the beginning of the game. Next, and it's just basically both teams start with 500 points and every kill reduces it by a certain amount, and your goal is to get the other team to 0 points. Let me grab a drink of water because, man, lots of talking right now. So Joust is probably my favorite game mode. It's 1 center lane plus 2 new jungles, again with the same buff camps as the arena, on either side lane. And as you can kind of see, there's a side lane over here and a side lane over there. Those are called the jungle. Your sight lines are kind of reduced in there, and you can pick up these. There's a little buff camp like kind of in that direction, kind of. So if there's a little opening there, well, I'll go into the actual game modes soon. So next we have Conquest, which is their classic Smite game mode. It's a large 5v5 map. Again, the arena is also 5v5. The Joust is 3v3 or 1v1 in the league mode. So Conquest, there's 3 lanes, and each lane, usually a god or 2 gods, is on it, and there's often a god going around the jungle with mini buff camps, XP camps, and so on. And we'll check that out in a second. The next game mode is Assault. Assault is pretty much 1 lane and with a few towers, and your basic thing is to push it. And your god you're given is random. So I tend not to like this game since I went and bought all the gods. So I have a good chance of getting a god I've never played before. And the final game mode is Siege. It's 4v4. There's a lane on either side, jungle in the middle, and you're trying to push the lanes. Alright, so let's head on over to practice mode, and I'm going to jump into some practices. Alright, so I am in a practice Joust game. So my allies are bots and the enemy team is bots. So it's pretty easy. So let's just grab that guy and that guy. And that was a custom build which I've made by myself because I'm pretty good at this game and I can kind of make a decent build. So over here, like I was trying to show you in the picture, we have a mana camp, the next one is damage camp, and we have finally on the other side an attack speed camp. So Uther's weird because his ult is available at all levels, and it switches the stances between a range stance and a axe stance, and there's a few gods like that, and this side is obviously reversed. So let's head on into lane. And so as we can see, we have a tower, we have a phoenix, and back here we have what is called, in our base, is a titan. Now the goal of the game is to push the other team and destroy their tower, because before you do, everything behind it is invulnerable. Oop, I got a little too aggressive there. Even against bots, the bots are not terribly hard, but if you do something stupid like that, you will die. So, the best way to play this game is to play it smart. And that's... Okay, that was weird. Weird glitch, I think. Alright.
An enemy has been slain.
So, we have our minions coming out, and their minions are coming out, so we want to kill their minions as fast as possible, so that the minions can run into the tower, because if we run into the tower, we take damage, and we don't like taking damage. So, we want to let our minions push the tower, or at least go in first, so that they take the brunt of the assault, because we're going to get new minions in a few seconds. But anyway, so that's the basic of how a joust match works, and the conquest and siege modes, as well as assault, are very similar. Assault not having these two jungles, was the conquest game mode is basically it's a lane up the middle, and there would be another lane on the side of either jungle with, I think, 2 towers. Yes, they have 2 towers rather than just 1. And assault, it has 2 towers, just 1 lane, no jungles, and the random gods. Oh dear. Our friend is dying. Alright, let's get out of there. And finally, the siege. It's like basically set up like this, except there's the towers would be on those lanes. Oh, I'm out of mana. Oop, let's run away. Anyway, so I've been Bobo. I hope this guide has helped you who understand the basics of Smite. Now, Smite is a free game by Hi-Res Studios. You can pretty much just Google it. It's also coming to Xbox One, and so if you have an Xbox One, you can play on that too. And yeah, so I've been Bobo. This has been the Smite Introduction. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, why not leave a like? If you want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to leave a comment down in the comment section. If this is your first video of mine that you're watching and you like it, why not subscribe? Hey, all my friends, the JumboJumboCrafters, are linked in the description, as well as Proleterbeats, the guy that does my music, and Gorakis, the guy that made my Minecraft intro. So yeah, check those guys out, as well as my info. And I shall see y'all later.